and welcome to the DM's Journal. It has been nearly 2 months since our adventuring party has met. Not that we've stopped having adventures, we've just been having more, real-life adventures. Adventures like family reunions, friend reunions, excruciating vomit-inducing pain that turns out to actually be a fibroid in your uterus. I'm fine now, but it was very terrifying, but anyhoozle, here we are. It's time to run D&D again. In fact, we'll be playing again tomorrow, so it's time to get to work. And I'm gonna make this video instead. Thankfully, over the 2-month break, I've had some time to think about where the campaign is going to go. But before I talk about that, I should talk about where my campaign currently is. The party, which consists of Kava, a dragonborn monk who follows the way of the selfless soul. She kills with kicks, heals with slaps, and burps poison when she's nervous. In Kava's possession is Theo, a non-binary teddy bear who used to be a mad magical AI that they rescued from a tall tower. It was in a module that I ran. I found it in MCDM's magazine Arcadia. There's a link to the review in the corner and in the under thing. I've made Theo a level 2 sorcerer because fuck it, why not? Kava is a glass cannon. Let her have a teddy bear and a papoose that can throw a fireball. Why not? Absolutely nothing will go wrong. Next up is Smiles. Full name, Smiles in the Sunshine Bright Meadow. A tabaxi bard that comes from a prestigious family who is off on his first adventure to make his name and fortune. He can charm the pants off of anyone and everyone he sees, talk his way out of any situation, and whenever he casts the prestidigitation spell, he summons a little cat girl named Mimi who does whatever that spell does. He can also summon Mimi and the Mome Wraths, a little band that can play music during appropriate times, like battle or at parties. But, that's a totally normal bard thing, and absolutely nothing will go wrong. Lastly is Ishi, the Aarakocra druid. Specifically an albino vulture, so he eats bones and refuses to learn anything about money, and he has a fly speed, okay? A fly speed. And look, I know it's my fault. He came to me with a totally normal character, but I baited the player saying, oh, come on, do something more interesting. And then he threw this character at me as a joke, but it sailed right over my head, the danger, and I said yes, and so now here we are. And you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. Ishi is perfect, and absolutely nothing will go wrong. Unless you throw 6 intellect devours at them and take out their powerhouse at the beginning of the fight, that's Ishi, by the way, then, yeah, something absolutely will go wrong. You see, they'd been hired by an absent-minded wizard to look into the pocket dimension, to go searching for his graduate student, because he hadn't seen his grad student in about 6 weeks, and he was starting to get worried about her. They were getting through the pocket dimension just fine, but then they hit that room, and things got bad fast. And they got through it because I did not want to TPK. That room was not meant to be hard. It was supposed to be a fun little adventure, and it kind of turned into a disaster. As soon as I realized what was going on, I scrapped the rest of the dungeon and let them in on the secret to it all. Turns out everything in there was actually an illusion, so you could easily defeat everything with the dispel magic. And before you knew it, they were out of the dungeon, back in the tavern, and all being annoyed at the crazy shenanigans that wizards go through. I think that battle went wrong for 2 reasons. First of all, 5th Ed is not great at encounter building. Why are intellect devourers CR2? That's crazy! I had no idea what an intellect devourer was. I was just looking for, little eldritch beasties, and I saw a brain with 4 paws, and I thought, that's cool, which, okay, maybe that was on me, but still! CR2? Not good. The second reason that I think the battle went wrong is that I had been throwing module after module after module at my party to try to get them to level up so I could tell the story that I wanted to tell. So it's not that I was checked out of the story, it's that I was checked out of the arc. So how do we solve that problem? How do I get myself checked back in and excited to tell the story that I actually want to tell? Accelerate the timeline. We are playing every other week, maybe. If I wait for a time when they're the right level to tell the story that I want to tell, we might not ever get to tell the story. However, I don't have an unlimited amount of time to plan these games. I have a job, and I have other creative things I want to do, like my Twitch channel, which hopefully will be getting up and running soon now that I have a bright new shiny computer that can do fancy edits. So I need to make sure that I'm using my time wisely. And tabletop RPGs are all about collaborative storytelling. So I figure if I focus on world building and encounter building, the plot can be a little bit basic. So here's what's going to happen next. The party is going to wake up the next morning and come down to breakfast to a tavern buzzing with the latest gossip. The grad student was found dead in the pocket dimension, and seems to be connected to a string of disappearances that have something to do with very strong illusion magic. Then the police are going to arrive and question the party. Now, the party is already on edge. They don't really like this town. It's a magic town, a la the Unseen University from Terry Pratchett's Discworld novel series. So it's a town that laughs at reality, and they don't really like that. Ishii, especially, is on edge. So I'm gonna need to come up with somebody that he can really connect with, that makes him feel comfortable. Enter Detectives Thori and Theli, dwarf twins. One of them is gruff, one of them is upbeat. But both of them are full of good common sense, and therefore dislike wizards. After questioning the party, they will tell them that they believe the culprit is due to tainted drugs. If the party asks, they will reveal that they have found the maker of the drugs, the grad student, but they have yet to find the distributor. However, they think it is someone in harbor. If the party gets on their good side, they will reveal that they have found good evidence that the distributor is going to be at a party tonight in Lothian Woods. They are planning on staking out the gathering to see what information they can find, or maybe even take a stab at nabbing him. And they'll invite the party along the way. After all, it's good to have backup, and nothing could possibly go wrong. And nothing went wrong. At least not according to my plan. Things actually happened exactly as I had planned it, which is rare, but in this case it's not totally unexpected. The group liked Thori and Theli, and they got in their good graces very quickly and were invited along to the party. When they got to the location, I let them see the big bad, the Beholder, and its second in command, a Mind Flayer, which made them all go, "Oh no, this is bad. This is very bad." The party's plan was to be at the drug party, college party thing, and for only about an hour or so to look around, gather some intel, and then get out of Dodge. My plan for my party was for them to go to the location, look around for an hour or so, and then get caught up in events as the mystical drug that the Beholder had been peddling suddenly went bad, and this ginormous eldritch entity appeared, cracking the earth. It whipped out a tentacle and grabbed the party as they were fleeing and shoved it in its mouth, and they fell down into the darkness. So after that, the party fell down into a lost, forgotten dwarven temple, and there was a mural there. This mural depicted a battle scene that went against everything they were taught about ancient history. But they didn't really have time to unpack that just yet, because they are now lost in a dwarven tunnel. But as one of my players said, if you're lost in a dwarven tunnel, at least you're pretty sure it's not going to collapse in on you. So they have some hope. All in all, it was a really good session. Only 2 hours, but I implemented some of my new Dming philosophies, and they seem to work out really well. My first Dming philosophy is that my job as a DM is to create problems, not solutions. I create obstacles, the players get to figure out how to get over them. That's their job. The second philosophy is that I'm going to improvise as much as I need to, which I'll probably have to improvise a lot if I'm not too worried about solutions and only worried about problems. Like, for example, my player forgetting her character sheet, so the battle that I had planned just didn't pan out. But it was fine, and they seemed to appreciate the more storytelling narrative aspect. It felt like a little cutscene. I needed the players to go to a place so we could continue telling the story, and we had just been spinning our wheels. And the player who forgot her character sheet is relatively new to Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop role-playing in general, and she was wonderfully entranced, which was really, it was quite a big boost to my ego. My other two players are more veterans, and the Aarakocra Druid player, Ishi, definitely took me aside, and he was like, I probably could have done these 3 things, but I figured you just needed us to go somewhere. And he played along with me, which is good of him. It is true. I did need them to get somewhere, and that's how I know that I have a really good, solid group. They are willing to go with me as I tell the story. I'm not a great DM just yet. I am learning how to become a better one, and I don't know. I have a good group, and I'm excited to see where the story is going. I'm not quite sure what they're going to find in the Dwarven Tunnels. I haven't thought that far ahead yet. But we've got 2 weeks until the next session, so I'll think of it then. Thank you for watching. Bye.